Need to combine the data from different worksheets into one dataset? Welcome to the Skills section, and in this video, we'll look at how you can use the VSTACK function to arrange or stack information from different sources vertically. We'll start with the more common non-tabular approach, and then we'll explore the less common but highly efficient approach, using Excel tables in stacking operations. In this example, you have a dataset related to experiment results spread across several spreadsheets, and you want to combine it into one dataset in the All Data tab. Make sure each tab of data has the same headings. You'll begin by first copying headings only into the All Data tab. Next, in the first cell from the left, you can build the VSTACK function. Type the equal sign, then start typing VSTACK. Select the function from the list that appears. Next, you'll enter the arguments. For this function, the arguments or parts of the function are simple. They are the sets of data that you want to stack one on top of the other. If you don't have too many tabs, you can go into each tab and select the data one by one. Let's go to the first tab, click on the first cell with data. Press and hold the Control and Shift keys together and press the right arrow. This'll take you to the end of the first row. Then press the down arrow, and this takes you to the bottom of the column. Now press comma, and this way you've selected the first array or range of data. You can repeat the same steps for the other tabs. Control-Shift, right in the first row, and then down to complete the selection. Then press comma. Once you've selected all the arrays that you want to include in the dataset, press the Enter key instead of comma, and there you have it. Data from each tab has been pulled into the All Data tab. This was a quick way to combine or stack data from different datasets into one. What if you have a larger number of tabs? Selecting each dataset individually can be cumbersome. An even quicker way is to set up a 3D reference within the function. Click on the first tab with the data, press and hold Shift key, and click on each of the other tabs you want to include. Once you've selected all the tabs, you can define your 3D reference. That's a reference that points to the same cell or range on multiple sheets. You already have this first tab displayed here because it's the first one you selected. You'll select the data within this sheet, cells A2 to E11. This is now our reference range in every one of our selected tabs, so that Excel will pull data from cells A2 to E11 from each of these sheets. Next, press Enter. As you can see, VSTACK pulls the information neatly. Now notice this works out well for our example because each set has the same number of rows, 10, from A2 to A11. There are two problems with this setup. 1. If you wanted to add an additional row in any of the tabs, the additional row will not appear in the All Data tab. 2. What if the data in each tab has a different number of rows? The solution is usually to add extra rows in your 3D reference to begin with. Let's say you want to add a cushion of 10 more rows. You'll simply change E11 to E21 in the function. Then press Enter. Now you can see that the data includes the extra cushion for each tab you added, but because there is no data in these extra cells from A12 to E21, they'll show zeros instead. You can hide the rows with zeros or no values in such a way that when a row is added in any of the source tables, it is dynamically added to the All Data tab. You can do this by using the filter function. When you enter the filter function, you'll first need to identify the array or range of data. In our case, that'll be our entire consolidated dataset, represented by this VSTACK function. Next, you'll need to tell Excel what to include from within this consolidated dataset or VSTACK function. Let's copy the VSTACK function and then pick a reference column from within this dataset. Say column A from rows A2 to A21. But what to include from this column? Any row where the value is not 0. We'll use these left and right arrow symbols to say not equal to and include empty quotation marks to denote nothing. So a quick recap. We're filtering this consolidated dataset. The filter is in column A for all cells that have a value, and there you have it. The consolidated dataset is now clean and able to expand if you add a row in any source tab. If we now enter some data in the Temp Control tab, it should appear in the All Data tab as well. Let's copy from above, change the plant ID to plant 11. Now let's check in the All Data tab. As you can see, the additional data was automatically added here as well. So far, we've looked at the most common way the VSTACK function is built. But now let's look at a different approach, using Excel tables. You'll begin by changing each dataset into Excel tables. You first select the dataset. Press and hold Control, then the letter T. This brings up the Create Table dialog box. Here, you make sure your selection includes all the data you want in the table. Also, make sure to select this option because there are headings in the data. Next, press OK. and this converts the dataset into an Excel table. You can then give this table a unique name. In the Table Design tab, click in the Table Name box to the left of the menu, and let's call this table Temp Control. Remember, no spaces. Similarly for every tab, you'll create an Excel table using Control-T, and then name the table. Now let's build the VStack function. Enter the first array, which will be the first table. Type in the name Temp Control. You can also select from the drop-down list that appears as you're typing the name. Add a comma, then add the name of the second table, and so on. Once you have all the table names in the function, press Enter to execute. As you can see, the consolidated table is now populated in the All Data tab. Let's see what happens if you add a few more data entries to one of the source tables. Say you have 2 additional experiments added to the Temp Control tab. Let's just copy the rows from above and change the plant IDs to plant 11 and then plant 12. Now let's go back to the All Data tab. As you can see in the Temp Control section, you now have the new rows for plants 11 and 12 added. So to recap the tabular approach. Step 1. Convert each dataset you want to combine into Excel tables. Step 2. Build the VStack function, where you'll enter the names of tables, separated by commas, and then press Enter to execute. Notice, unlike the non-tabular approach, you don't have to build 3D references or use the filter function for cleanup. Why use the non-tabular approach for combining data with VStack functions? You might like the flexibility of formatting your own data. Your company might prescribe formats that don't allow Excel tables. You might need to upload the file to a system that can't recognize Excel tables. There may be several reasons, but whichever approach you choose, the VStack function has made it relatively easier to combine tables to give you a dynamic dataset. Which approach do you prefer? Let us know in the comments. Make sure to subscribe to Skills section and see you in our next video.